Hi, this is Kelly Shaw from College Planning Centers of America, and this is our very first video blog. Today we're going to be talking about the difference between public schools and private schools and why you don't want to ignore the private schools if cost or the price of the school is really important. Let me explain. You know, whether you're a school counselor, you're an academic professional, you work as a college or financial planner, or if you're just a parent trying to figure out how in the world do you get your kid into school and pay for it and keep your retirement without going broke, it's really critical to understand the differences between the cost of a private university and a public school. Now, typically private universities cost around $30,000+ a year. That's the sticker price before financial aid. Whereas a public university may be anywhere from $10,000 to $24,000 a year, at least here in California. Public universities are typically supported by state funds. That's why you have in-state tuition for somebody who lives in-state, and you have out-of-state tuition for somebody from outside the state. You don't have that in a private university. A private university just has one fee. Now, typically, public schools, state universities are covered with state funds, and private universities are covered by endowments like Harvard and Yale. To give you an example, the Harvard endowment is so large that every freshman coming in the 2012-13 freshman class could actually get $500,000, and it would only be half, that's right, only half of what the interest would make this year on that endowment alone. So they have a lot of, quote, free money to give. Now, a lot of that money is given for either merit-based aid or for financial need, where a lot of state schools, a lot of the monies that they receive go towards research. That's why you find a lot of state schools, phenomenal schools for research. Now, on the average, a public school is going to give about 40 to 70% or meet 40 to 70% of a family's need to attend that school, whereas typically a private university is going to meet somewhere between 70 to 100%. Important number to understand. The other thing is generally private universities are smaller, they have smaller classes, and they have a much smaller professor to student ratio. So what's best for you? Well, that's hard to say. I'll give you an example of somebody we worked with recently. Now, we were working with a family whose daughter wanted to go to school to be a nurse. Her school of choice, if they had their druthers, would have been USD. As soon as they found out that USD was a $40,000 a year school, they said, we can't afford that. So we were looking at a very new, inexpensive state school. What they didn't know about the state school, they had no financial aid available, so they were going to have to foot the whole bill themselves, about $16,000 a year, maybe $14,000 a year. Yet when we actually brought up USD, because they're a good Catholic family, it's a Catholic school, we said, look, have you thought about USD? Your students got good grades, let's look at that. And they said, well, we can't afford it. And I go, well, let's take a real look. So we used our software, College Cost Navigator, and I want to thank Kelly Owens. It's an incredible product. We did a school search, and we could do a bunch of comparisons as to which schools would meet certain financial aid and what it would really cost them to attend. We found out that this family's cost to go to USD was $4,000. Even though the school was $40,000, their cost was only $4,000. Yet if they went to the state school, which was about a third of the cost, they would have to foot the whole bill. So they were looking at $14,000 versus $4,000. Public school that has a graduation rate of 12% in 4 years versus a private university that has a 70% graduation rate in 4 years. So what we're saying is, before you make a decision, look at schools, look at their graduation rates, look at how long it really takes the average freshman, because most parents budget for 4 years of college, yet a lot of state schools have 6 and 7 year average graduation rates. You want to look at the total cost of going to school and look at what the financial aid packages are between the schools. We can do that here at College Planning Centers of America. There's a few other companies out there that can do the same, but by all means, before you commit, look at all the differences between the schools. Well, that's the end of the first blog. We'll talk to you next week. And next week, we're going to be talking about SAGE tuition reduction program. This is a SAGE tuition rewards points brochure that just for meeting with us, attending one of our seminars, or having us work with you, our first consultation is free. You can actually earn up to 1 year's college by doing the right things for your child. 1 year's college, private university. There are 300 private universities in Sage. We're going to talk about that next week. Thank you.